in this short tutorial I'm going to show you how you can make your pieces using your clamshell or calotte findings. So these are a very beautiful finding and they look like a crimp cover, but they are a lot easier to use than crimp covers. So if you struggle with crimp covers, then calottes are going to be your best friend. And what they basically are is a crimp cover with a hook or sometimes a loop already attached to it, and your crimp and your the end of your crimp and your beading thread will be encased in the inside of the clamshell or calotte and then closed up, giving a very nice, neat, professional finish. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your cutters and your chain nose pliers or flat nose pliers, some beading thread, obviously some beads, your calottes and 2 crimps, and also the finding the clasp of your choice. So meet me back here and I'll show you how to make them. So I'm starting again with my beading thread, and I'm first of all going to place a crimp bead on the end of my beading thread. Okay, so I've got my crimp bead in place, and now what I want to do is near the end of my piece of beading thread, I'm going to crimp this down so it's nice and flat. Now try and get it so that it's in the center of your beading thread, so you've got equal amounts of crimp either side, and then give it a squish so that it's nice and flat. So you've got your crimp bead attached onto your beading thread. Now this is going to act as a stopper inside your calotte. I'm now going to take my cutters and I'm just going to trim away the end of my beading thread, so I've now got this little stopper here. Now on the other side of my beading thread I'm going to now feed on my calotte so that it's facing outwards. So these have a little beading hole in the centre there. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There you go. So you can see that little beading hole in the centre. So we want the crimp to sit on the inside. So I'm going to just make sure that this is going to then sit on the inside. So I'm just going to bring my calotte onto my beading thread, and you can see it's now facing upwards. So I've placed it going from the middle outwards and then bringing it all the way down until that crimp sits neatly in the middle. So you can see there, and we can turn that so it's sitting horizontally inside the calotte. So it's now inside there. Let me just show you. You can see there it's inside there, and now all that we need to do is close up our calotte or clamshell to form our crimp cover over the top and give that nice neat look. So like I said before, I'm going to use my chain nose pliers. You can use your flat nose pliers as well, and again the same as when we do crimp covers, we're going to do it nice and gently. So don't try and do it all in one big sort of like push, because that can distort the shape. So I'm just ever so gently just squeezing, and you can see I'm resting my index finger on the inside of my pliers. That gives me a lot more control, that I'm not, because without that finger there you can see I can have quite a bit of play, whereas when I put my index finger in, it just slows down the amount of squeeze that I've got. So now we've closed that up, there's still a tiny little gap all the way around. So what I like to do is come to where the hinge is at the bottom, so you can see where it folds, and I'm just going to give that a little squeeze, and this will push the two ends a lot closer together. And you can see now that we've got our lovely clamshell over the top, giving that really beautiful, again, professional looking finish. A lot easier to use in your crimp covers if you do struggle with your crimp covers. And now all we need to do is, taking our chain nose pliers, is just complete the loop So just fold the loop down a little bit on this one. Some calottes or clamshells have a loop already on there for you to go through both of them with your jump ring, but with this one it's just a little bend round of that hook, and then you can then add on your finding there. So I'm just going to bead up this bracelet and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So we've now got both ends completed with our lovely calottes or clamshells, and all I've done is taken the jump ring, placed it through the hook on either end, and on one side I've added my clasp to one of those jump rings, and on the other side it's free that I can then just do up my clasp, do up the clasp onto the jump ring, and there you've got a beautiful looking bracelet that has got all the findings and ends finished off nicely, looking very professional.